Welcome back to Research Connection. Joining me today is Dr. Greg Lewbart. Hi, Dr. Lewbart.
Hey, Kyle. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Thanks for having me.
So let's start with a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, my name is Greg Lewbart, and I've been here since 1992. So I'm in my 29th year as a faculty member here at NC State. My title is Professor of Aquatic Animal Medicine. I was hired here as a fish veterinarian, a fish clinician, and researcher and teacher way back when. And I do continue to do work with fishes, but I also do a fair amount with other cold-blooded critters, amphibians, reptiles, invertebrates, and on occasion a mammal or a bird, but I really focus on the ectotherms.
And we're lucky to catch you between trips to the Galapagos.
Yeah, that's right. I will be making my third trip to the Galapagos in a few weeks. Really fortunate to have these opportunities. It'll be my 22nd trip going to the archipelago. Wow. And I was there twice already this year doing field work. And then this next trip is a little different. I'll be attending a workshop on conservation of the endangered pink land iguana. Yeah, in April, the end of March, I flew down there for about a 6-day trip to the Wolf volcano. This is the highest point in the Galapagos, and it's the only place in the world where the land pink iguana lives. This is a distinct species of land iguana. There are 3 species of land iguanas in the Galapagos. Galapagos is very famous for the marine iguana, but they also have land iguanas. They're related, and this species has only been known to science since 2009. And my role is the veterinarian on the team. So there's some ecology and herpetology experts, park rangers, and then I'm sort of literally along for the ride.
Does Leonardo DiCaprio have anything to do with this?
Well, Leonardo DiCaprio has to do with this trip I'm making in a few weeks. So he recently made a hugely generous donation to conserve Galapagos wildlife. And in large part, from what I understand, through his relationship with a veterinarian who's a friend of mine named Paula Castagna. Paula is a Colombian veterinarian, actually did a master's at Tufts with one of our former residents, Felicia Nutter. And she lives and works on the Galapagos on conserving a variety of species on the islands. And especially her efforts are on removing invasive species from the Galapagos. That's one of the biggest problems there is introduced species, either intentionally or accidentally by humans, and how those species impact wildlife. So she works for an organization called Island Conservation, and somehow they hooked up with Leonardo. Notice I'm first name basis. I've never met him and probably won't. But he made a huge donation, and part of that money is going to conserve the pink iguana. And this workshop I'm attending is probably funded with that money, and there'll be experts from really around the world trying to decide what the next step will be. Because there are only, we think, about 200 of these animals, and no one's ever observed a baby or an egg or a nest. So there's probably going to be a couple-pronged approach, trying to get rid of feral cats and maybe try a Head Start program, raising babies until they're big enough to fend off a cat, and then introducing them to the habitat. We'll see. None of this work I do there would be happening without some amazing collaborations and relationships. First off, with our neighbor down the road, UNC Chapel Hill. They built a science center in the Galapagos in collaboration with a school called the University of San Francisco in Quito. And it's called the Galapagos Science Center. And that's how I sort of got my foot in the door there, because of my relationship with Ken Lohman, who's a sea turtle biologist at UNC, and working with his live animals over the years. He invited me down to do a research project with green sea turtles. With a lot of the technology and equipment we have here at NC State, I've been able to join a number of different teams along with my wife, Diane Darasensky, as veterinarians doing wildlife conservation work.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity.